Hey folks, how's it going? So I've been working on the Warhammer Savage Orcs kit a little bit, and I wanted to kind of talk about some of the modifications I'd made before I move on to the painting. I've got 5 of them ready to paint. The modifications were really just little things to try and make them a little more unique and individual than if I'd just gone through and put them together as a standard kit. So I've made some little detail touches here and there. But as I say, I've got 5 of them done, so I'll try and be as coherent as possible with this. This is the first one. I just gave him a knife. The kit offers a whole load of options as far as weapons and things go. But yeah, so I've tried to do a variety of them running through, and modified a lot of the weapons and stuff to kind of suit other purposes and things, but I'll go over that as I go through. As I say, this is the first one. He's just got a knife in one hand, and in the other hand he will have this the big standard that comes with it. This is a really cool standard. I like this. And the way it's painted up on the box looks pretty cool. There's like a gradient runs through the different heads that are on this thing. It's almost like a totem style standard, which is cool. So he will hold this when it's all painted up and put together. I'm keeping some bits separate just to make it easier to paint, and then obviously I'll pin and glue them on after they've been painted. But this guy's holding the standard, and then on the back here I've just put a little section of tube on him. He already had this strap running over the back here, so I just added this little piece of tube and green stuff, some to look like wraps on there, so when it's painted up it should have a little bit of contrast on there too, which is cool. But in that goes one of these. This is one of the spears that come with the kit. I just cut the hand off. There was a hand on here obviously for someone to hold. I cut that off and kind of shaved down the staff of this thing here, and that just fits nicely into this tube. So he'll have his spear or his lance or whatever you want to call it on his back there. Again, I've left it separate for now just so it's easier to paint everything up. But he will have that just as like his main weapon. If he was to drop the standard here, you could pull that out and use that too. So that's the first one. Next up is this guy. I was kind of inspired by the way this one's legs are positioned. It looks like he's almost leaping off of something, so I used one of the open-mouthed heads just to make it look like he was screaming. I added a little goatee kind of beard onto him, just with green stuff. And then on the back here, this is actually one of the shields. Again, I just cut the hand off the back of that and it fit nicely onto his back there, and just gave him some straps sort of thing to hold on to his arms there. So just, he's dual wielding some of these plate rock axes at the moment. So, he could drop one of them and then kind of take his shield off and use that instead, just to kind of give a bit more detail to the back here. But I thought it was a pretty cool pose overall. I'll maybe have him standing up on a rock or something, like he's leaping off of it. About to bring these axes down in someone's head or something like that. But so yeah, that's that one. Fairly straightforward. Next up is this guy. Again, I've given him a beard. I just thought it was it's a really easy modification to make, and it just adds a bit more and again uniqueness into them. So this guy's just got this big hefty sword, and in the other hand he will have this shield on there. So he's just got those both raised up like that, and he's kind of screaming into the sky. But on his back I used this piece here. It's actually I think it was intended to go on a bottom jaw, so it would be that way up, and it was it's meant to be like a tusk plate sort of thing to go on one of their jaws. That's what it shows on the box anyway. But I decided to add a strap running over this guy's chest, and it comes round, so it's almost it would act like some kind of holster on his back. And I just took one of the little picks. It's kind of a tusk picked style thing. Again, carved the hand off, and this fits into the back here. Again, left it separate so it's easier to paint. So yeah, he's also got another weapon on the back there. I thought it was cool to just kind of add extra weapons and things to these guys, just because there's so many come in the kit that I wanted to include as many as possible really on the characters, and it also looks like they're heading off for some big kind of battle or something. Makes the miniatures look a bit, as I say, more interesting overall too. So that is on the back of him. So that's that one. Next up is this guy. I wanted to have a couple of archers in this one. So this is the first of the archers. He's just got a hand holding up some arrows there. I've got one of the quills here. That'll go on his back. And I'll add some green stuff to make that make sense on there, like it's strapped on or something. And then for the side here, he's just got a knife, again carved the hand off of this thing, and just put a little bit of green stuff on to make it look like it was kind of through a loop or something in his in the side of him. And then in his other hand, I'm going to give him a bow, but I've actually gone ahead, and I don't like how the bows don't have any strings on them. That's always something that's kind of bothered me. I understand why they don't, just because for molding and casting purposes that would be a bit of a nightmare to get that detail in there. So I went ahead and cut just a really thin sliver of plastic, and then just so he'll hold the bow like this, and oh, it's actually snapped there. That's why they don't put these really thin pieces on, but that's fine, I can glue that, no problem. So yeah, it just added a string to his bow pretty much, and it'll sit underneath his arm there, just to add that little touch of detail on him. And finally, this is kind of still a work in progress, this one. There's still quite a bit of green stuff work to do on this, but this guy is he's got a shield here, and then this hand, this was actually the tip of a spear or a lance or whatever, this section here, but there was only one sword, I think, in the kit. They give you a lot of axes and picks and spears and bows, but there's only one sword, so I wanted another one of them to have a sword. So I just cut the top off of one of the lances, and then kind of modified the handle here to make it look like a sword. And I think this is actually one of the arms from one of the miniatures that would hold the big stabber thing, the big spear. So there was quite a bit of modification to do on the shoulder area just to make it fit, because this arm was actually meant to be raised up above someone's head. So I had to modify the shoulder area slightly and green stuff that in. Now on the back there, you can see he's got some spears and stuff going on. Again, I've still to do a bunch of green stuff. I had to cut all the hands off of these spears, and he's actually got some kind of holster type system going on his back here. I just drilled in and pinned 2 hooks. These are actually cut off of one of the bows. I just cut the 2 ends off of one of the bows and pinned them into his shoulders. And I'll add some green stuff to make it look like there's a harness or some kind of strap with shoulder pads, around him, with shoulder pads that are kind of have these hooks connected. And the idea is that I'll do this. This is I can't even remember what this bit of plastic's from. I think it was a cover for a plug. They come with covers often when you buy a new electrical product, so I keep all little bits of plastic like that. So this is actually just one of the covers for one of the prongs from a plug, but I just took that and currently glued a little piece of, I think this is the handle from, possibly from this spear actually. I used the handle for this sort of piece here. I'm going to green stuff this all up to make it look like wrapped leather, like it's a leather kind of holder for all the spears here. And the idea will be I think I'll leave it removable, just for like storage or whatever, if it comes down to that, and then it can actually just go on the back, like you saw there. I might try, I've never magnetized anything really, but I might try and get some magnets and put a little magnet in his back here or something, and have one in the base of here so it sticks on a little better. But for the meantime, that just hooks on there, and it will be a huge leather kind of basket or holder on the back here for all these spears that will go in there. And I'll put them all back in just so you can have a final look at it from the back. So yeah, there you go. Quite a bit, as I say, quite a bit of detail and work still to do on this guy, but it was just a kind of unique little twist that I wanted to add to it, and again, just gives it a bit more dimension to him. You know, instead of being a miniature being this tall, he's now kind of a bit more impressive overall in terms of his presence, I guess, in a collection of miniatures. So that is him, and I've still still 5 more to do. So I'll go away and I might actually paint these guys up first just to get some minis finished here. So I might go away and do the final bits of green stuff I need for these guys and paint them up, and then move on to the final 5 of the crew, and then that'll be that set done. But yeah, really liking these miniatures. There's a lot of character already in the sculpting and in the minis themselves. But again, I just wanted to add a little unique twist to them, I guess. I like to try and do that as much as possible when I'm putting kits together and stuff. So hopefully that's some kind of inspiration for anyone that's putting this kit together, or a similar sort of kit. Just to think of things in different ways. Just because this comes with a hand attached to it, you can cut these things off. Just because this came as a spear doesn't mean you can't cut the top off and turn it into a sword or something along those lines. With this guy, for example, with the tusk jaw plate sort of thing, it doesn't have to be a tusk jaw plate. You can use these bits for other bits and pieces on your miniatures as you see fit. And again, it just makes for a more unique collection of miniatures. And so to set you apart from everyone else that's doing similar sort of kits, really. So there you go. Hopefully be back again soon with an update on these guys or some of the other projects that I've got on the go. But until then, cheers for watching, and I will catch you all later. Goodbye.